Hey guys!
Hello!
How are you doing today?
Welcome to our coffee corner. It is Thursday, April 24th, and we're
25th.
at 25th. We're at, oh my gosh, I've been traveling. So we are at the E.J. Johnson headquarters, and today we are going to be talking about for sale by owners. So we have, the last few weeks we've been talking about the sale process, like the buyer side, and then we talked a little bit about the list side, and now we're going to transition into for sale by owners.
We are, and wow, I'm just going to start by messing
We're really
up
struggling
completely.
today.
We are. I think it's because we're missing Paige.
I know, we don't have Paige today, but I just want to let everyone know that today is National Bring Your Daughter to Work Day.
Or in your case.
Just leave your daughter at work day and don't take her on fun trips with you. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll let this one slide, Mom.
She's not sour about it at all.
Not at all. It is also National Hug a Plumber Day.
Yes, so Roy Scroggins, here's a hug from E.J. Johnson Group to you. That's the weirdest air hug ever. Okay, so as Alexandra was mentioning, we're just going to
segue.
Yeah, segue, that's the word, right back into it. So we're going to talk about for sale by owners and kind of, I guess you would call the drawbacks possibly of why being a for sale by owner, and then hopefully help educate you and see the benefits to working with an agent and selling your home.
So we're going to start with reasons why people decide to be a for sale by owner. And the number one reason I think is people believe that it is easy to buy and sell homes, i.e. just sell your own home. Like stick a sign in the yard, like call me and I'll show you my house and I can do it all on my own. And then also, I think the big thing is also saving money, right?
Yeah, I think that ties into that, is that they want to sell their own homes and save that percentage that you have to spend for a commission. And then I think they like the idea of being in control of it and the idea of being in control of the transaction. And we have a couple of things about why that might not necessarily be true. And so I guess we'll just kind of get into it.
Yeah, so I think the first big thing that people don't think about whenever they're doing a for sale by owner is you have zero professional help. And so that funnels into a lot of different things. Whenever you are listing your home as a for sale by owner, your first hurdle is not just the sales price. You know, you're thinking, okay, I want to sell my home for $200,000. You meet Betty Lou and she's like, I want to buy your home for $200,000, and you shake hands and it's over. That's not how it goes. There are so many other steps that come after that. You know, you write the contract, you come to a high agreement on the price, and then after that, there's more negotiations. And you're not going to have the guidance or the help that you need and ideally would want if you're on your own.
So if Betty Lou came, how does this change if Betty Lou comes and
I like this scenario.
Yeah.
This is fun.
So how do you think that would change if Betty Lou came up to your seller your seller was not represented by an agent, and Betty Lou said, this is my agent? How does that change for the seller?
So for the seller, a lot of times, like if you're a for sale by owner, you would make the decision to just the paperwork is worth paying for someone for. Yeah,
man, way to go, Matt Marshall.
So, paperwork is a huge deal. We're going to touch on that very soon for Betty Lou. As we dig in this scenario, this is fun.
I like her name. She's very Southern.
So for sale by owner, I'm a for sale by owner. You're representing Betty Lou or whatever. And you come to me, I'm going to say that I'm going to pay a buyer's agent fee, which is usually 3%, right?
Unless you're in Washington County, yeah.
Unless I'm in Washington County. So, yeah, and we're going to decide on a price.
So the thing that for sale by owners possibly, maybe, I'm not going to speak as for all of them in a group, one thing they might not think of is if that buyer comes to you with an agent, well then great, there's an agent involved and the agent knows it, but that's a big hold up right there, because that agent represents the buyer and the buyer's interest. That agent is solely responsible for the buyer's best agent.
Oh my gosh, long time no see. Yeah, exactly. So that brings up a really good point. The buyer has an agent, right? And the buyer is going to be biased because they're looking out for the best interests. So they're going to kind of take a hold of the deal. You know, they're going to be driving the ship, if you will. You know, so you're going to agree on that price, and the next thing is going to be an inspection okay, well, whoa, what is an inspection? I'm a for sale by owner. I've never had one of those before. Someone's going to come into your house, just like we talked to in our previous videos. They're going to come into your house and they're going to find all the things that are going to be wrong with it.
And even if you are aware of the fact, saying, you know, my house is ready to sell, I love the way my house is, no, nothing's wrong with it, an inspector will almost always find something wrong with your home. That's their job. And there's not every house, even new construction houses, there are little things that get overlooked, and that's the inspector's job. That's what they get paid for, and it's the buyer's best interest for them to find everything before they buy the house.
So you have the contract, you agree to the price. The next negotiation is going to be that inspection, and you're going to have to decide as a for sale by owner, well, what am I going to fix? What am I not going to fix? How does that work? You know, and that's another step. So it's like, bam, you're hit with the sales price. Bam, you're hit with the inspection. And the third process is going to be the appraisal. So you have all of these steps that are just like coming at you.
And if you don't have an agent representing you, there's no one in your corner. And I think that's the best way to kind of explain that your agent is in your corner. They will be acting on your behalf. They will be helping you, walking you through every step, helping you decide everything in your best interest. And so when you have a buyer and a buyer's agent who are working together to do everything in the buyer's best interests, you're left there by yourself. You don't have that.
Yeah, you don't have anyone to kind of bat for you on your side to make sure that things are in your best interest. And that's where having an agent really helps. You know what I mean? It's just like having, you know, a teacher or, you know, someone that's like,
a coach.
This is a coach. Yeah. And another thing like Matt brought up is the paperwork. So with each of these steps and, you know, the obstacles that are going to come about in trying to sell your house is there's a lot of paperwork. I mean, it's not just for anything. And in any industry, there's a whole lot of paperwork.
And there's a whole bunch of jargon in that paperwork, a whole bunch of legal things that while your agent can't tell you exactly like this is what this means and I suggest you do this, they can't act as a lawyer, but what they can do is they can help you decipher what these paragraphs upon paragraphs mean, so that you're able to understand what you're signing and what you're doing.
Because on the flip side, I'm the for sale by owner. You're getting sent all of this paperwork from another agent who you don't know, you don't have a relationship with. They're driving the bus. You don't have anyone to break this stuff down for you. And you're just like, well, what am I signing? I don't know. I'm selling my house. Like, is this the right information? As opposed to having an agent who would be like, this is what this means and this is what's going to happen next. And just kind of easing you through the process.
And so a smart for sale by owner would take that paperwork and kind of get some legal guidance on it, but that's a fee you're paying.
Yeah.
Like if you have an agent, you've got that guidance right there.
So, but let's back up. So let's say even before, you know, you get your for sale by owner under contract. There's a lot of things that happen before that too.
The whole listing process. It's not just listing a house. There's a lot of steps that go into that.
Yeah. So we're talking showings. We're talking getting your house. I mean, you're probably going to list on Zillow and Trulia. That's 2 websites. You're putting a sign in your yard. You're having people call you while you're working. Hi, David.
So let's go to the showings. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've gotten your house ready. You've cleaned your house. You've stuck a sign in the yard, you put it up on Zillow, and then you wait. If you're for sale by owner, what can you expect from the showing process that will be different? We'll touch on the one about how it changes when you have an agent, like if you had us. But if it's just you and you're for sale by owner, what's that showing process going to look like for you?
Well, people are going to be calling me all the time that I don't know. I mean, they could be from Timbuktu. I have no idea. I mean, I think there's a lot of security that you lose as a for sale by owner because and we'll talk about this, but we do a lot on the agent side to help protect you and secure your house. You always know who's going to go in and out of it. And there's a big struggle because, you know, someone's calling me, I'm at work, I have to leave work and go let someone in. One thing Naomi and I were talking about earlier is, you know, sometimes there's showings that we schedule and people like don't even show up or they get canceled last minute because the agent can't make it or the person doesn't, you know, from Timbuktu doesn't even show up. I mean, there's just a lot of like hit and miss, and that can be frustrating when you have a day job and maybe you don't have the ability, to leave and come home and go back and turn all your lights on and, you know, Febreze your house or put your dog up, as opposed to having an agent who can take care of all of those things for you and schedule showings and do open houses And a really big thing is the showing time app.
Mm-hmm. So when you are represented by an agent, we're going to talk specifically as if you were represented by us, because we know us. We use a program called Showing Time app. It's something that you can download on your phone really easily. And when we get your house listed, we immediately input you into that Showing Time app, and ourselves as well. But a lot of the time, the FSBO people choose to do FSBO
people.
They choose to do that because they want more sense of control. In the Showing Time app, it gives you that control.
Right.
Like when someone is interested in seeing your house, you instantly receive an email or a text or a call, however you prefer, and however it gets set up in Showing Time, saying so-and-so wants to see your house at 3 o'clock on Sunday. And if that works for you, you approve it. And then if it doesn't work for you, you just shoot back another time and say, that time's not going to work. Can you do 4 o'clock instead? And then the great thing about that is that once you've got a lockbox on your house and another agent is showing your house and they come out and they close it, that lockbox tracks who opens it. That lockbox tracks who closes it. That lockbox tracks how long it was open. And the great thing about that is you know who's in your house. You know when they, when they're there.
And agents also leave a card. So it's not only, it comes through on the lockbox, you get home, you have a card, you can see a face, or you can go look up on the internet who was in your house, or maybe you have one of those creepy doorbell
the ring doorbells, yes.
The ring doorbells where you can just see people. I mean, but yeah, I think it's definitely puts your mind at ease. I have a story actually from showing a for sale by owner recently.
Hi, Al.
Hi, Al. So so I called up this for sale by owner. I don't remember how my client found it. I think it was like Zillow or something like that. And so I called the for sale by owner and I speak to her, and I was like, how can I get into the house? What's the best way to show? And she literally left a key under the mat to her home. She didn't even ask for my name. She didn't ask if I was a realtor. She didn't ask what brokerage I worked for.
And a lot of times it's because they don't know to ask those questions.
I would be like, what's your social security number? You're coming to my house. Like,
that's a little bit too much.
And I guess that we do in this day and age, there is a lot of like surveillance and stuff. Like people have cameras in their house, but still that's still 4 random people. There's 4 of us just strolling through your house and you don't know who they are. That's kind of scary to me. I mean, is it to you?
It is. And especially when you think about the fact that, that key could have disappeared or things like that.
Yeah, or maybe, I'm some creep and I come back later and, that's just really scary. As opposed to having an agent, you have a lockbox, you have apps like Showing Time. I mean, those things are just, I think they're huge.
They are. And the great thing about the Showing Time app, which is probably my favorite part about it, is the feedback option. On every listing that we list through it, we request feedback. And it will... that once an agent shows the house, Justin Callahan likes your hat.
I haven't washed my hair today, and it's raining.
And once we show your house, the agent who showed your house will get emails and texts requesting feedback. And so that just kind of gives you an idea of, our buyers liked it, but this room seems really dark. Or our buyers liked it, but the yard needs a little bit of work. One, they could be things that you could turn around and fix up, knowing that that's something that people are noticing. Or 2, it just kind of gives you a peace of mind knowing, if someone comes and sees your house and then you never hear from them again, it's why?
Exciting. Like, oh my gosh, 5 stars. They're definitely interested. They want to buy your house. That's kind of cool. And it's funny, didn't we have one? We had one showing and it was from like out of town. I think the guy was from Eureka. It was one of our clients. And he uses the Showing Time app, but since it was a realtor from out of town, they don't use the same technology that we do. So I actually physically had to go let the realtor in and talk to him. And anyways, he noticed that he didn't get feedback for that showing. And he was like, oh, there's my feedback. Because, it's nice to know. Like,
once you get used to getting that feedback, you want that feedback.
It's exciting for us too. Like, I love it when feedback pops up. I'm like, oh.
And when we get good feedback, we share it with everyone. Like, ooh, they like this house. Look at it.
But it's cool for the agent because then we can follow up with the other agent. Okay, well, your client really liked the house. Well,
so let's talk about it and see what we can do.
How can we make this deal work? Let's shake some hands, get some babies here. I don't know. So yeah, I think that really kind of covers the lack of professional help. And the security of your home and how it's time consuming.
Oh, so time consuming.
And yeah, just the overall protection, not just like security wise, but even legally when it comes to the contracts and just the dollars and cents. Like, I think another thing that we haven't really touched on yet would be the cost. A lot of the reasons that FSBO, this is like making me laugh. I need help. What is it called whenever you're in a sorority? You're not in a sorority or a fraternity.
You're hazing?
No, like there's like a name that they
rushing.
made for people who don't do sororities or fraternities. Like, they made up a name, so it's like, oh, you're Pi Kappa Alpha or you're KD, but like you're not affiliated with a sorority. There's like a name for it.
I would not know.
And it's like you're like, oh, someone help me that's watching, because it was so irritating, because they give you a name even though you're not a part of sorority. I feel like that's like what a for sale by owner is.
No.
Oh, dang it. I thought that someone was
If you guys
tell us.
know what that word is, just shoot us a comment and let us know.
It's like, so they used to call me that in college because I wasn't one. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. I think that FSBOs get caught. Well, I know that FSBOs get caught up on that 6%. That's why a lot of people do it. They're like, I don't want to pay someone to blah, blah, blah my house and sell it, and I can do it on my own, and that's great. But statistics.
Justin said, is it called normal? I agree with that. Let's go with that.
It is totally called normal, but, of course they got to give us some sort of name.
GDI.
Yes, GDI! That's what it is.
Good job, Brian.
But what does it stand? GDI, though, it's like, what? I need you to spell it out for me all the way.
Golly dang idiot.
No, it's something. He'll hopefully type it, please.
So the money.
I'm sorry.
So that 6%, a lot, like Alexandra was saying, a lot of people get hung up on that 6% because if you're wanting to sell your house, you're wanting to get every cent possible because you're wanting to make that money.
And that's fair, but that's also something that your agent does for you because we want to get the best value for your home.
And we like statistics, so we found some statistics. Let me just not trip over that word right there. So the National Association of Realtors put out in 2018 a thing about this. And I have two things that I want to point out. In 2016, only 8% of home sales were FSBOs. That means 92% of home sales were agent assisted.
And a lot of those were probably FSBOs before too.
They were.
They were like, oh my gosh, this isn't
working. I need something.
We got one a month ago, didn't we? Remember? They listed as a FSBO and then called us and they were like, this is terrible. I'm done. Like, I'm tired of my phone blowing up. This is crazy. And we sold their house in like 2 weeks or something.
Yes. And it was amazing. And I think it was mutually beneficial for everyone and they ended up really happy. And that's the goal. That should be every agent's goal, is to make their client happy and make them get what they're looking for and get what they want.
It's like a part-time job.
It is.
I mean, I think that's one thing that we don't think about is God and independence. That's good. Yeah, I think that's right. But what was I saying? I got sidetracked by Ryan. Silly.
I don't know. But like in 2016, the typical for sale by owner home sold for $190,000, which sounds really nice, right?
Yeah.
The typical agent assisted home sold for $249,000.
Big gap.
It's a little bit of a gap there. And while Alexandra and I were sitting here and we were thinking about it and we were talking about it, I did a little bit of math, which everyone's mind should be blowing right now.
EJ's gonna be so impressed.
But 6% of $249,000 is only $14,940, which means after that 6% taken off of that $249,000, they still had a number of $234,000, which is more than $190,000. So if you get hung up on that 6% and you think about that 6% and not wanting to lose it, it could hurt you in the long run, because a lot of times you talked about the dollars and cents and you talked about listing your home and putting your home in the yard before you can, or you're assigning your yard. Before you can even do that, you have to decide what you want to sell your house for. And it's so easy for sell by owners to look on Zillow, because that's what they have access to, and seeing what a home
so many
in the
calls
neighborhood like
that. I've had so many conversations recently, even with just a client that I like your hat, I like your face. They get or I get calls. They're like, oh, well, I have a client come the other day. He was like, oh, we're gonna list our home for sale, and Zillow says this, and I'm like, oh.
Don't listen to Zillow. Please don't listen to Zillow, because the thing is that
Zestimate is so wrong.
You could have a house in your neighborhood that just listed for $200,000 and it looks just the same on yours on the outside, but what about updates? You could list say they listed it for 200,000 and they sold it for 200,000, and you're like, oh well, I'm going to do that. If you have more updates than they do, and
you have all new
more square footage or all kinds of different things go into that comp, you could be doing yourself a disservice by listing it for lower than what you should.
Well, and I think another thing that we're going to touch on today also is whenever you're picking the price for your house, you're also biased. And that's one thing whenever we go and do listing presentations is we walk through your house without you. You know, we just go walk through, get an idea, take notes down, and then we go and we look at the market and we look at all of the houses and we have an unbiased view. Obviously, we want to get you the best price and all of those things are on our mind, but we don't live there. We haven't made any memories there. We didn't pick out the cabinets. We have a more clear view of it than someone who is like emotionally attached.
And like you always hear people talking about the emotional decision when you come to buying a house. Selling a house is just as emotional, because really especially if you've been there for half a lifetime with all those memories and all those updates that you personally have done or bought, things like that. You might have, like she said, a biased view of the price of your home.
Yeah, it's you always think things that you're attached to are more valuable.
And we bring that up because when you hit the market, when you list your house for sale and you hit the market, the price that you attach to your home is greatly going to affect how long your house sits on the market. And the best thing that an agent does is they come in and they look at your house, and our entire job, so I'm going to move this for a second. Their entire job is to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the least amount of time.
Yeah, so what we say is the first 2 weeks on the market are the most important. So that comes to price, and your days on market start to add up. There are just so many factors that really are put into the buying and selling process of your home that an agent can just really be valuable. And I hope that we have...
Hi, Cody.
Hi. I hope that we've really helped you guys understand why you should choose an agent and work with someone, and how it can really just be a relaxing process. Like we always say, let us stress for you.
Let us do the work.
Let us do the work. Let Naomi do the marketing. She's awesome at it. And that's another thing is we put it on the MLS. That populates to how many websites whenever you put it on the MLS.
Honestly, I'm not going to quote a number because I don't know the exact number. I know that our MLS will populate to Realtor.com. It'll populate to Zillow. It'll populate to Trulia. And the thing is that sometimes those won't syndicate correctly, and I'll be on their backs and I'll be like, hey, you need to fix this. It's listed this or whatever. Because things are always going to kind of get a little tweaked. But the most important thing about the marketing is that's your impression. Like we always talk about how buying or selling a house is like dating. And that first impression is so important, because if you're overpricing your house and people are seeing it, like Alexander, you mentioned a few weeks ago, say you're helping a buyer and you're looking for houses and this is their top dollar.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of for sale by owners will price their house higher because they're like, oh, well, this is what I want for it, but I will take this.
Yeah.
But if you have your house priced right here and her buyer can only go this high, when she searches the MLS, she's looking for houses below here. Your house will not come up in that search. And we were in a training probably a couple months ago, and our teacher was talking to us. Shout out to Eva Mosier, she's amazing. But she was talking to us about how she had some buyers with her, and they had a list of houses that they really wanted to see, and they were driving through this big neighborhood, and they asked her to stop because there was a house with a sign in the yard, and they were like, what about that house? She knew nothing about it because it wasn't on the MLS. And so she had to call them. She had to get the information.
So to follow that up with, I had a similar scenario happen to me last week. And it wasn't a for sale by owner. It was actually a house that was listed on the MLS. And it was so awesome because I was actually leaving the neighborhood. And my clients were like, hey, there's this house down the street. Like, can we go see that? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's make it happen. And so I pulled it up on the MLS. I called the agent. I was like, hey, this is super last minute. Do you think we could see it? She was like, let me find out. And before we knew it, we were walking through the doors of the house. Like, I didn't have an MLS sheet with me, but I had my phone, so I knew all the details, and it just was seamless.
And if you think about that scenario, that exact scenario from a for sale by owner's point of view, if you're in the neighborhood and you're like, oh my gosh, we want to see
Yeah.
this, can we see it? Well, I'm not home to let you in.
Yeah, and then you lose
And
that
then you lose that.
opportunity. That opportunity is gone. And they're on to the next thing.
And it's like,
Just
well,
that.
maybe I can show you in a couple days when I'm back from my trip. Your buyers are like, oh, well, actually, we
Oh,
love that
yeah.
house. Let's just go with that one.
And I think
so your
the
house is
other
forgotten.
thing is like, no one needs. You don't need to be there whenever
No.
your house is being shown.
Because you're going to have buyers walking around. They're going to say, well, I
Yeah.
love this, but I hate that color. I like
They're gonna
this, but I
talk
hate that
about it.
floor. And it's nothing to be taken personally, but it's just they can talk more freely and they can really communicate more freely if they don't feel like
you
you're
want
just
them
there.
to like be comfortable and like get a feel for your home, and I mean that's where someone would be living.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's lots of things to talk about. I feel like it can kind of be overwhelming, even just like being like telling everyone all the key factors.
Yeah, we could go on for hours talking to you about why you should use an agent.
It's really actually it's
don't have the
funny
time.
because the people that I'm working really close with right now, they're like, yeah, we think we're just gonna do for sale by owner, and I was just like, I just started like being like listing all these reasons why you shouldn't, and they're actually working with an agent now.
So that's
So
a
it's
very
really exciting, and they don't even live in this state, so it has nothing to do with me. But I was just like, I promise you, it's gonna be so much easier, so much more less stressful. And I told them, I was like, I mean, right now we wouldn't even be getting into this house, and they were like, oh crap, you're right.
So we're going to slowly start to wrap this up. I do want to shout out and let you know that the points that we've made today and the things that we've mentioned, it's all combined on a blog. We always mention our blog. But
Naomi's blog.
But it's all, you'll find it all on our blog, and I've actually tagged it down below, up to the side, up to that side, wherever you see, whatever version you're watching this video on. But that blog, if you click on that link, it will take you completely to the 7 reasons why not to for sale by owner. And they'll just kind of like talks more in depth about the things that we touched on today.
Or maybe we missed one, or maybe we got sidetracked by sororities and fraternities and GDIs. I don't know.
But I think one of our most successful things that the blog has been able to help with is we could sit with our buyers and our sellers, and we can talk till we're blue in the face about why you should always be represented by an agent, how it's in your best interest. But sometimes it's easier just to read the information on your own and digest it on your own and think about it. And that's kind of what happened with one of our clients. Paige got a call from someone a while back, and I'm just going to say a little quote that she said. But she said recently she met with a young couple trying to purchase a home, and seamlessly the home they dreamed of, they located it. A contract was negotiated, a professional inspection was performed, repairs were agreed to between the buyer and seller, and they were on their way to being homeowners in a few short weeks. That happened after looking at the for sale by owner in their neighborhood. And the house checked those boxes too. They strongly considered writing a contract on it, but that for sale by owner was not interested in doing any work with an agent. And instead of the buyers choosing to work with them instead and getting Paige out of the picture, they understood the importance of being represented by an agent and their interests being held to the highest standard that Paige could hold them to. And they decided to go with a home where the seller was represented by an agent.
That's so amazing. I mean, and you talked to, and I think another valid thing is we've had Lindsay the lender.
Lindsay the lender.
And we also had Shelby from Waco, and they even brought that up, like, please work with an agent because it's easier for them too. And it just makes everything seamless. We connect all the dots. And it shouldn't be painful having to buy or sell a home.
And when you have that agent in your back pocket, you have access to call them. I know Paige gets calls from her sellers all the time, and it's about things that they generally don't really know the answer to, and she's able to, if she doesn't know the answer, she'll do everything to find them the answer.
We get the calls on your listing, like they're asking us questions, and
we don't
just
know.
take care of it. So yeah. But I hope that we helped everyone, and
if you missed Paige as much as we did, let her know below.
Yeah, and this is our first one without Paige.
It was.
We missed her. She is on a nice little family trip, so I hope she's having a good, relaxing time.
And she'll be gone again next Thursday, so.
It's just us. But, all the swagger today, thank you. But, next year you can Bring Your Daughter to Work Day right. All right. Well, we're signing off.
And
See you
we just
later.
want to let you guys know, be looking out on our Facebook page because the Parade of Homes is coming up
Oh,
in
yes.
about a month and a half now?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Something
it's right around the corner. It's such a great opportunity to just go see cool homes like in the neighborhoods all around Northwest Arkansas.
And it's nice to see what all the builders are doing nowadays.
Yeah.
I know that the Parade of Homes that the Lance Johnson Building Company did last year and the Parade of Homes they're doing this year, they're both amazing, but just the different touches in all those homes are just so amazing.
Me and my boyfriend did it last year, and we went all over. I mean, obviously, we went to the Lance Johnson Building Company home. And just all over Fayetteville. It was so fun. I mean, there's some really neat ideas flowing out there. So definitely take a look.
Yes, and there's a post down there and on our page, and you can find the parade map. You can, if you're a builder or you represent a builder, you can sign up to be a part of the Parade of Homes, and just little things like that. And then we also just wanted to give a couple shout outs today.
Oh, yeah.
We have had a really exciting week. Earlier this week, our seller sold their home.
Rachel.
So Rachel Anderson, congratulations on the sale of your new home. Also, Mark Phillips Construction, he just built a gorgeous home in Phase 8 for a wonderful family.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Michelle Moore, it was great working with you. And tomorrow's a big day for Lance Johnson Building Company. They have built a gorgeous house in
it's so
Scissortail.
pretty. It's my favorite. I show it
it's
to
got
everybody.
the most amazing modern look. If you haven't looked at it yet, scroll down through our Facebook and look at 8704 Birdsong because they built a gorgeous house for Will and Stevie Armstead. So congratulations to you guys closing tomorrow.
Yeah, and next week I have my first closing.
She does. Woo!
So yeah, we'll get more details about that next week though. All right.
All right,
See you all
thanks
next
guys.
time.
We'll see you later.